What up, peoples? How we doing? How we doing? How we doing this morning, man? I told you all maybe a few weeks ago. I said I had to find my original copy. I guess you can say this is like the original version of the story I'm writing now, Bajillion. And it's missing pages. It's missing quite a few pages, I think, but I don't know. But these words that you're looking at right now on this page, these words were written originally in 1995 in Phoenix, Arizona, in June time frame. So these pages, this little book here, this little tablet is about nine. Well, the tablet itself, the date is 1998. It doesn't say a month, but the year is 1998 when it was made. But I wrote in this little tablet in 1999. I was alone in my roach-infested apartment, no furniture. I was straight out of the army. And the crazy thing about this is, so I'm reading some of this, and I'm like, wow, this is crazy. How some of the things I wrote, like, I'll just, wow. I'm looking at it now. It's like, wow, this is crazy, man. Like some of the stuff I wrote in here, I rewrote again, almost verbatim, y'all. Like this whole last chapter I just wrote was all fresh. All the stuff that you're looking at on the screen right now is all fresh. I thought I was making it up off the top of my head, but apparently I was digging into my memory from 26 years ago. But the craziest thing about this, y'all, when I was a little boy, I didn't grow up with my biological father. That's not a big deal. That does not make me special at all. You know, I did grow up with a great dad. My dad passed away in 2010. Shout out to my dad, Irvin Mays. My biological dad is still alive. You know, shout out to him. We talk every now and then. He's a cool guy. But growing up, I always knew I had an older sister. Nobody ever told me that. Nobody ever told me that. Let me pull the tablet out again. I don't know when it popped in my head that I had an older sister, but I remember sitting in my bed thinking to myself, man, I got an older sister. I always knew I had two other brothers, but I never knew I had an older sister, right? Until I was 25 years old. Excuse me. I met my one of my brothers for the first time. I didn't meet him. We was talking over the phone. I mean, I've met him since then, but we started speaking over the phone. And then we arranged time for him to come to my house and everything. And when we started talking, he was like, "Hey, man, you got an older sister too." I was like, "What?" He said, "Yeah, we got an older sister. She's older than me." I was like, "Oh, really?" Yeah. And he told me her name. He said her name was Sonia. Sonia. He said that was her name. Now remember, I started writing this in 1999. Jacob's older sister in this book, in the book, still I didn't change the name. I was going to, but I didn't change the name. In 1999, I wrote Sonia being the older sister for Jacob. And it's right here in the book, y'all. If y'all don't believe me, let me find it. So, I was thinking to myself, wow, that's out of all the names in the world, I chose Sonia. You know how many young black girl names I could have, written out in this story? No, I didn't. I chose Sonia. And that's the craziest thing about the story. But this, like I said, I'm rewriting things for the first time that I wrote 26 years ago. Y'all, let me see. April, May 29th is when I went. That's my sister's birthday. That's when I went to California to be with, at the time, friend of mine. So we ended up getting married. Yeah, but I was gonna go to school out in Phoenix, and I never actually I went, but I then I came back to California. But I was alone in that apartment, that roach infested apartment. It 125, 120, 115. That's normal temperature in the summertime in Phoenix. Apparently, I did not know this. I did not know Phoenix got to be so hot, man. And y'all won't be able to see it anyways, but I can't find it right now. I just wanted to come on and say that real quick. The scene that I'm writing right now about them dancing and all that stuff, and Suge blowing out the candles. I just wrote all that stuff, y'all. Let me read. Let me read a little bit of. This is the very end. Now, some of the pages got missing because you see how thin this is. This is very thin now, but this book was almost filled up, so I'm missing a lot of pages. I guess I can't remember, but let me read this right here. Let me see. Okay, let me read this right here. Suge takes in a big chest full of air. He holds it for a second or two, and finally he lets it all out. Before he lets it all out, now y'all gotta remember I wrote this. This is a rough draft, and I wrote this in 1999. I was in my early 20s. Before he lets it out, the fire is gone. All that is left is smoke. After everyone had a slice of cake, Mr. Wallace turns on the record player. Record player, y'all. Record player. Randy rises from his seat. "Who wants to cut a rug?" said Randy. Everyone at the table turns and stares at Randy as he stumbles around in a circle. Randy's drunk, trying to find the beat. After laughing for a while, Wendy springs from her seat and joins Randy in an amusing dance duel. After seeing what's going on, Mr. Wallace approached his wife, asked romantically for a dance. Ask her, I guess I can't really. It's written in pencil too. She looks up at her seemingly smaller in size husband, and that's where the story ends, because if you see right here, it's just in. I mean the word and then anyways, y'all can't see that, but anyways, that's the dance scene that I did not even. I don't. Anyways, y'all, let's get to the story, man. It's been 8 minutes. That's it. 1999 is when that story started. Here it is, 2025, almost 26 years later. I was 20. Let me see, 99. Let me see. I turned 20 in 96, so I was 22. I was 22 years old. 22 years old. That's a baby. Out of the army. I'm from South Carolina, but I'm in Phoenix, Arizona, in June, in an apartment. It was kind of scary, but at the same time, I've always been the adventurous type, man. Always been the adventurous type. I'll do whatever. But like I said, Sonya, that's the biggest thing. That's the biggest thing. Let's put some music on. As the smell of animal feces and urine wafted through the September air, and while chickens clucked and ducks quacked, Suge's answer registered with young Jacob like coins in a snack machine. Taking in a deep breath, the compost was almost as fresh as baby's breath. Alright, so all this purple, this is weird. I guess I can change this now, y'all. This is the part that I wrote while I was in Greenville. Let me change this to black now. Okay, so I'm gonna change that to black, but I'm gonna make this red again. Which part? part was read now. You mean and well. Okay. So this is where I stopped on yesterday. Thank y'all for stopping by the way. Let's go back up to green. As the smell of animal feces and urine wafted through the September air, and while chickens clucked and ducks quacked, Suge's answer registered with young Jacob like coins in a snack machine. Taking in a deep breath, the compost was almost as fresh as baby's breath. Later, while Suge was adding molasses to a brewing compost tea, as air bubbles were causing foam to froth up and around the rim of the bucket, Jacob asked in a somewhat disgusted tone, "What's that? And why are you putting it in there?" Well, let me indent this. Well, this here is for the little bugs I've been telling you about. You know how you can get enough of Miss Martha's. Oh boy, come on, calm down. Slow it down. Let me turn the music down a little bit. Well, this here is for the little bugs I've been telling you about. You know how you can't get enough of Miss Martha Louise's chili bears? The man asked. And how when you and my grandson suddenly get all the energy in the world, I gotta fix all that. Y'all, this is unacceptable here. I mean, maybe it's me. You know. But I gotta do something here. I gotta fix this up a little bit. I'm gonna just say well. I think that whelp is throwing me off. Well, well, this here is for the little bugs I've been telling you about. You know how you can get. You know how you can't get. You know how you can't get. Well, this here is for the little bugs I've been telling you about. You know how you can't get enough of Miss Martha Louise's. You know how you can't get enough of Mama's chili bears? Of Mama's chili bears? The man asked. And how you and my grandson, and how you and Honey Bear suddenly get all the energy in the world? And how you and Honey Bear suddenly get all the energy in the world to run around and jump and fight with one another after y'all get a couple of cups in your system? Couple of cups of let's go back up here. And I'm about to turn the ceiling fan on again. Why I get so hot all of a sudden? I'm getting hot flashes. What's going on here, man? Oh boy, I'm not joking about. Okay, please don't get it twisted. I'm just saying, last 2 days or 3 days or so, I come in here, I start writing, all of a sudden I get hot. Why am I getting so hot? As the smell of animal feces and urine wafted through the September air, and while chickens clucked and ducks quacked, Suge's answer registered with young Jacob like coins in a snack machine. Taking in a deep breath, the compost reminded him of baby's breath. The smell of the compost. The smell of the compost reminded him of baby's breath. Later, while Suge was adding molasses to a brewing compost tea, as air bubbles were causing foam to froth up and around the rim of the bucket, Jacob asked in a somewhat disgusted tone, "What's that? And why are you putting it in there?" Excuse me. Well, this here is for the little bugs I've been telling you about. You know how you can't get enough. You know how when mama gives you, let me see, you know how when Miss Martha Louise gives you and your buddy Freddie chili bears. The man asked. Well, this here is for the little bugs I've been telling you about. You know how when Miss Martha Louise gives you and your buddy Freddie, chili bears? The man asked. And how you two suddenly get a burst of energy, suddenly get a burst of energy. Well, this here is for the little bugs I've been telling you about. You know how when Miss Martha Louise gives you and your buddy Freddie chili bears? The man asked. And how when you two suddenly, and how you two suddenly get a burst of energy? Yep, Jacob replied. Well, this is basically the same thing. This is basically the same thing in them cold cups of icy. It's sugar in the form of molasses. It looks disgusting. Well, it ain't. When I was a little boy, this is what we used on our flapjacks. Papa Bear, that's my granddaddy, you know. He used to hook old Sam up to the mill. Sam was our mule, and get old Sam to turn that mill until raw syrup poured out. Oh, it ain't disgusting one bit. What the ham, egg, and cheese? I don't have this thing. All right. It ain't disgusting one bit. And to the little critters that's going to help my plants grow is energy. The things that's going to make them multiply. All right, y'all, I know I'm stumbling over this, but I'm trying to just get it good enough just to have one pass, and then I'll fix it. I'll massage it and get it right. Removing a handkerchief from the pocket of his overalls, Suge dipped the spoon in the billy goat trough, wriggled it vigorously back and forth. Until there was only a light film left on it. Then used the handkerchief to wipe away the remaining syrup. Let me show you something, Chili Bear, he said to the boy, as honeybees buzzed and a curious goat trailed close behind, and while chickens clucked and pigs squealed and oinked and cows mooed, the two walked back over to the pile of compost. Now see here, this pile has the same stuff that's in the bucket, only the tea is easier to put on my veggies and fruit. I can spray it on the leaves or drench the ground where it can go directly to the roots. It's kind of like sticking a needle in your arm, hooking up an IV to a person when they ain't eating days, when they ain't eating drinking days, when they ain't eat and drink, when they ain't eating drinking days. That liquid in the IV bag is gonna go straight to the blood. So you picking up what I'm putting down? Sugar ass. Huh? Asked Jacob. In realizing the 10-year-old mind he was explaining to needed things to be broken down further, the man took out the spoon he'd cleaned off, using the spoon. The man took out the spoon he'd been cleaning off. Using the spoon as it reflected the sun rays, he scooped up as much as the spoon would hold from the compost pile and held it out for Jacob to see. Okay, let me try to explain this again. In this spoonful is billions of little bugs and animals, critters basically. Like I said, educated folk call them microorganisms, he told the boy. You mean bajillions? Jacob insisted. Yeah, you can say that. Anyway, in this spoonful, there's a lot going on. It's like a whole city, and everybody got their job to do. When I put this on my plants in the garden, on the grass, around my fruit trees and shrubs, whatever, all them creatures go to work at doing one thing, and that is working with the plant to grow it. The plant gives them sugar, sort of like chili bears or food. It's what they call a goodness. What's the doggone word? What's the daggone word? Symbiosis. No, that ain't it. Here I go trying to sound all sophisticated. Here I go trying to sound all sophisticated and can't even remember the word. Symbiotic. Yeah, that's it. They work together in a symbiotic relationship. And thinking of all that Suge had said, Jacob was enthralled. You mean there's bajillions and bajillions of little invisible aliens inside this pile? The boy asked. Man, you sure do like that word. Shook seemed agitated. Man, you sure do like that word. Shook seemed agitated. Well, I guess so. Give me your hand. Well, I guess so. Well, I guess so. Give me your hand, said Shook. Okay, we're gonna go a little bit further. As Jacob put out his hand with some hesitancy, Suge pushed it deep inside the pile. Feeling the heat, Jacob recoiled. Oh boy, that's gonna fix it. I think it's 0.3. Don't worry, it ain't that hot. Only about 140 degrees Fahrenheit. Nothing's going to happen, Suge assured him. You feel it? He asked. My God, I gotta fix all these. Oh, no, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's hot. Why is it so hot? The boy asked. That's all them bajillions of critters moving around. Now don't you and your partner in crime go messing with my compost either when I'm not around. I see that look in them big old eyes. This hill can get really hot. Don't want you burning your arm off. Y'all gotta forgive me now. I'm telling you, I'm running on fumes, but I'm doing. I just woke up. Anyways, okay, okay. Wait, don't you need fertilizer? Nope. Just look around. The large man extended his arms and hands, displaying to Jacob all that was on his land. Long as I got leaves, grass, cow shit, rabbit shit, worm shit, good scraps from off my plate, I got fertilizer. Following the demonstration, I almost said scration, y'all. South Carolina is coming out. That South Carolina messed up, STs and SCs, screet. Somebody need to educate Charlemagne. I'm just joking. I actually had a German girl teach me how to talk, y'all. I'm not even embarrassed to say that. When I was in the army, like 19 years old, 20 years old, my first German girlfriend, she taught me how to say street. She said, Anthony, it's not street. Why are you always saying street? It's street. It's street. Say it. Let's say it together. Street, not street. I'm like, wow, this girl, she don't even speak English. English is her second language, and she's teaching me how to speak English. Okay. Street. Anyways, that's a true story. I had a person who did not speak English as a first language teach me English. And I still can't say misconstrued. I always say misconstrued. Anyways, nope. Just look around. The large man extended his arms and hands, displaying to Jacob all that was on his land. Displaying to Jacob all that was on his land. Long as I got leaves, grass, cow shit, rabbit shit, worm shit, food scraps, and food scraps from my plate, I got fertilizer. Finally, the demonstration, following the demonstration, the man took in a deep breath. Took in a deep breath. He exclaimed. He exhaled. Can't you smell that fertilizer? What was that about? Now let me back up here. That was supposed to be a tab. Why didn't that tab? Let's see. Let's go back. What's going on here? What's going on here, y'all? I was supposed to tab, so let me go and see what's going on. Sometimes you gotta turn the lights on. Why didn't that tab? Oh. Can't you smell all that fertilizer? Ew, Jacob exclaimed. Alright, so I'm going to stop it right here. We're going to stop it right here. This is where the red is going to come in. Alright. Matter of fact, let's go ahead and make this whole section here red. This is where we stop. Alright. This is what we got left for this chapter for now. And let's go back up to the green, which is not that far away. It's been 32 minutes, y'all. I'm going to go ahead and save this. Y'all have a good day.